Everybody, this is Mr. Plunkett, and this is Chapter 3, Section 4. It's actually the Section 4, the extension, which is factoring expressions. So it's not the distributive property. Okay, so number 1 says to factor the expression using the GCF. Now, what does that mean? Well, we have 7 plus 14. We need to find out what the GCF of 7 and 14 is. Now, hopefully you can already do that in your head, and I trust you to be able to do that. We could list out all the factors, but hopefully you know that 7 is the GCF. Now, whenever we say factoring out, we want to turn the GCF into a factor, which means it's going to be a number that's being multiplied. So that GCF goes in front of parentheses, that's 7. And then we think 7 times what is 7? Well, 7 times 1 plus 7 times what is 14? Well, 7 times 2. So that's actually what you write in here. You write the 7 times the quantity 1 plus 2, and that is that has the factored out 7. So you factored out the GCF because you've turned the GCF into a factor. Now that obviously works when you're subtracting as well. It's like reverse distributive property. So it's when we're condition or subtraction. I'll let you do number 2, and then I'll give a shot here at, how about number 4, because that one looks like it might have a tricky GCF. Okay, this says factor the expression. I should read the directions. Factor the expression using the GCF. So we have 70 plus 95. I don't know what the GCF is, but I know that if we factor it out, it's going to go here in front of the parentheses. So I actually have to think about what the GCF of these two numbers is. Now, I notice that they both end in either 0 or 5, which means that 5 must be a factor of both numbers. But I also noticed that the difference between them, 95 minus 70, is actually 15. And so then I think, well, maybe 15 goes into 70. No, it actually doesn't. So this is tough. Maybe it's just 5. So I'm going to try 5. Now 5 times what is 70? Now that's not easy. So what you might want to do is take a calculator, and what you can do to figure out what number goes there is you just take 70 and you just divide by 5. So I have my calculator in front of me. You have yours on your assignment. So 70 divided by 5 is 14 plus, and then 5 times what is 95? Well, to figure out what that number is, take 95 and divide by 5. And you get 19. And in fact, I think that we did this right because 14 and 19 don't have any common factors. So 5 must have been the greatest common factor. And so we're done with number 4. Okay, I think you can handle these other ones. So why don't we do one with a variable? That's where it starts to get a little bit more complicated. Maybe 11. 11's a tough one. Okay, so it says factor the expression using the GCF. So we have 26x minus 13. Well, what number is a factor of both 26 and 13? And it's actually 13. 13 times 2 is 26. So sometimes one of the numbers that's actually here is the factor. So we're going to factor it out. That means we're going to turn it into a number that is multiplying. And then we go 13 times what is 26x? 13 times what is 26x? Well, what's 13 times what is 26? 13 times 2. 13 times 2x is 26x. Because when you distribute this, you're going to get 13 times 2x. Now remember, in between 2 and x is multiplication, so that's 13 times 2 times x. 13 times 2 is 26, so it's 26x, because we don't need to show the dot between a coefficient and a variable. Okay, 13 times what? No, there's a minus. 13 times what is 13? 13 times 1. So this would be 13 times the quantity 2x minus 1. Now looking at this one, 50x minus 60, if we're factoring that, the GCF is, what number goes into both 50 and 60? It's probably 10. So it's going to be 10 times something. And then 36 plus 9, 36x plus 9, I should say. Well, 36 and 9, you probably know 9 times 4 is 36, so 9 is probably the GCF for that one. So these are tricky, but if you continue to practice, you're going to get better and better and better at them. So please email me if you're having any troubles, and I will talk to you soon.